to minimize consequences of fake news. Ministers back to Theresa May and reports of coup. Hello to you all. This is Oromia Broadcasting Network News. I'm Thomas Kamulatu with the news. Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed said the government is preparing a law that will help minimize the damage that fake news and hate speech on social media are creating. He also warned people working to create chaos in the country to refrain from such acts. Let us race.
The Office of the Prime Minister has organized discussion in connection with the first year of the new leadership's coming into office. Attending the end of the event, Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Dr. Abiy Ahmed, has made a remark. He said the objective of the discussion is to welcome criticism and understand the issues that need more attention rather than reporting what was performed. The Premier accentuated that some scholars, activists, and journalists are highly interested in bringing the country into chaos, pointing out that this trend should be corrected. About the politics-related problems, he had to say this.
There are political failures in Ethiopia. The first one is holding inferior opinion. That doesn't care about loss of lives while disseminating political interests of their own. They have no intimacy for other nations rather than realizing their agendas of personal interest. The second is the opinion of those who carry rigid politics. They could work nothing rather than asking.
Dr. Abiy indicated that there is the tendency of celebrating problems in Ethiopia instead of encouraging good progress. He said there are media houses that are in need of creating chaos to report about the arrest of journalists rather than reporting that there is no journalist in jail at this time in Ethiopia. He urged media professionals to work in a responsible manner. The Premier stressed the need to correct social media usage.
We are making social media law. We have also discussed with Facebook.
According to the Prime Minister, various ideas flown from different places are affecting the politics of the country due to misunderstanding of the reality on the ground.
Politicians should criticize the past in a balanced manner. They have to do the same while learning lessons from the past. We want to bring genuine democracy in Ethiopia. Currently, the individuals who were accused of terrorism-related issues, political prisoners who were wanted for arrest and sentenced to death, they all can live here. They speak as they like. What is democracy beyond this? They argue that there is no democracy. They have great limitations for work rather than celebrating problems.
The Premier urged residents of Infinite City to appreciate the good works of government and also criticize the government properly if there is something to be corrected. He said the government is observing what is going on in the capital to bring bloodshed through creating different agendas. The Premier warned those organs who are carrying out such activities to refrain from such deeds. Unless otherwise, the government will take legal measures.
Scholars have described the peace deal between Ethiopian and Eritrean governments as a major diplomatic step taken in the history of the country. According to INA's website, speaking about the foreign policy and African participation at the panel that opened on Friday, the panelists also said the country's relation with neighboring countries and influential countries have improved significantly. African Union advisor and consultant Abdul Muhammad said the change from hard border to the soft border has created a spirit of peace among the border residents of Ethiopia and Eritrea and demonstrated the fruits of the democratic way of conflict resolution. Former UN Special Envoy for the Sahel, Hirut Gebrselassie, said there is a need to bring together those who live in the cross-border areas of the country to benefit more from the Ethio-Eritrean peace and support Ethiopia's reform in the diplomatic arena. Former diplomat and IGAD's heads of capacity building departments, Huri Emmanuel, said peace benefit any of the countries in setting a proper framework for settling disputes and cooperate and mutual development. He noted that embassies must scale up their efforts in promoting foreign relations to strengthen the relation of the countries with other nations. Foreign policy analyst Solomon Ayala said Ethiopia and Eritrea must promote economic integration. He emphasized on the need to create a joint forum with the Gulf countries on the basis of institutional relations. The Ethiopian Federal Supreme Court has established the Federal Laws Advisory Council. Fikadu Brown has more.
The Federal Supreme Court has established the Federal Lawyers Advisory Council, which includes 17 senior lawyers as members. The main aim of establishing the council is to give swift and quality services to the public. The council has discussed ways of designing proclamations with different stakeholders. President of the Federal Supreme Court, Maaza Shanafi, on the event said, different studies show the public is not happy with services of court at different levels.
ጠቅላይ ፍርድ ቤትን ኃላፊነት ከተቀበልንበት ጊዜ ጀምሮ ከተለያዩ ባለድርሻ አካላት ጋር ካደረግናቸው ውይይቶች
We have been discussing with different parts of the public since we took office. According to the feedback we have got, the public is not satisfied with the services given by our courts. They believe that the courts are only serving business owners and some individuals, she said. She adds that they have been working by giving priority for the reforms of courts at different levels to create public trust on them.
ህዝቡ በፍርድ ቤቶች ላይ ያጣውን አመኔታ ለመመለስ
We are working with due attention to reform our courts in order to give quality and swift services to the public so as to increase their trust on our services, she said. President of the Council, Wubshet Ayala, for his part, underscored that the Council is undertaking good job to design different proclamations. Concerning the proclamations, we have completed 2 of them. We have also finalized 2 draft bills. Generally, we have reached 80% of our work. Scholars of law and lawyers talked to OBN for their part note that the draft bills are very important to benefit the public if they are approved very soon. Serving our public in free court and by neutral lawyers can benefit the public more. So its benefit is for our society at large. Members of the council, leaders and lawyers have approved the draft proclamations after they have deeply discussed it.
Scholars say the government should sustain the measures started on land grabbing. Fikadu Brown has more again.
The land is not only a vital livelihood asset, but also indispensable for the enjoyment of several women rights. However, smallholder farmers do not have an adequate legislative protection as laws and practices facilitated arbitrary expropriations and land grabbing, which induce an economic marginalization of most ethnic groups in Ethiopia. Dr. Ndalu Fufa is an education expert at Arsi University. He said that land is many things for Oromo people.
Land is life to Oromo, like any other people. And the land is just a very sustaining heritage of the generation. Because without land, Oromo means no one and no people. To me, it's life, it's identity, it's history, and everything Oromo has.
He adds that Oromo has been facing different challenges due to land grabbing for many years.
Oromo hasn't got any option to live freely, and eviction is not unusual to Oromo. We may not find things written in the very chronicles of Habasha, but land grabbing had so far been the very culture, the very tradition of governors of Ethiopia. But the condition has come to the worst level recently, to the level of forcing the people, evicting the people of the lands and their properties without paying any good, any attractive amount, and without being considerative into the very life of their children. So it has come to be more aggressive. And for that matter, in the name of investment, several corruptive actions have been taking place. That is what makes this 21st century eviction and land grabbing very unique. Otherwise, it has so far been underway.
Dr. Ndalo underscored that those who were in power, as well as some people themselves, are responsible for land grabbing in Oromia.
People themselves, some members of the society, Oromo society, and especially those who were in power. Instead of just fighting for the right of the people, some of the electorates who represented the people may have been corrupting the land, even cooperating in selling lands and bartering on lands, and that was really against the very right of the people. So they are responsible, I say, for the very disastrous action that has been taken by the aliens on Oromo. And the second point is, well, overall, the system should have been cleansed of such a corruptive action overall, so far as my understanding brings with the views, because this is not a simple issue. There was a heavy demand on life, heavy demand on the very existence of the people, and really it has been the very cause of bloodshed, clashes everywhere, and conflict so far. So it equals for me historical disaster and historical genocide, not only life genocide.
Dr. Ndalo also appreciates the government's measures started on land grabbers, adding that it should be sustained to solve the problem from its grassroots.
What I want to appreciate is that even the very nature of awareness the government has this time to justify settlement is a step forward. But my worry is in continuing this, to keep this progressive so far. Because in Ethiopia, as common that things start but never end, and they never go to the last stretch. They start, and there is a kind of doing and undoing. That tradition should be broken. So far, legality is in place and rule of law is in place, the people's rights should be guarded.
He called upon the people to protect their land properly.
The people should be cautious on what they do. They should not sell their lands. They should not expose themselves to unwise, unwarranted displacement. That day, when they do that and go against the rule of law and expose themselves to bartering, this land selling, and whatsoever they do in the negative way, they come against their own history and they keep their children astray. That will be more disastrous.
The 29th founding anniversary of Oromo Democratic Party, ODP, has been observed in a sub-city of Finfinne City. Mukhtaraj explains.
Residents of the 6th and Akagi subsidy of Finfinne City have celebrated the 29th founding anniversary and first year of DP in office after it got its new name from OPDO. Residents vote that they will be by the side of DP to prolong the changes started in the country. We can prolong the started changes. To do that, we would be by the side of the party. Manager of Akagi subsidy and the secretary of DP in Akagi subsidy, Asrat Neguse, said ODP will work more than ever for extra changes. She said the public needs to be by the side of the government to sustain the changes. Every parties of the community, everywhere they are, should work with the transformational leaders. The celebration has also been marked in Warda 8 of Bole subsidy of Finfinne City. Participants said they would intensify the changes along with the reform leaders. We have to strengthen each other to transform our changes in unison. Tagai Tababu, members of executive committee of Bole subsidy of ODP on the event said all stakeholders should play the level best to strengthen the changes. Our people should learn a lot how to fight against opposers of the reform in the country. This could be realized by strengthening our relationship with different nations in the country based on our Gada system, which is too inclusive.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. That's all for now. Have a good time.